The following program is being brought to you on the Seventh Wave Network. For more information about our network and to check our additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit seventhwavenetwork.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Your Soul with Lisa Ouellet. If you're ready to make personal changes in your life and the lives of those around you, get ready for an hour of encouragement, enlightened guests, and engaging stories. Now, here is your host, Lisa Ouellet.
Welcome to Empowering Your Soul. I'm your host, Lisa Ouellet. Today I have with me as a guest, Kathy Tangney. She's a Tong Ren healer and watercolor artist. She became certified in Tong Ren healing by Tom Tam in 2007 and 2013, and we're going to learn all about Tong Ren today. So with that being said, welcome to my show, Kathy.
Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about Tong Ren.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. For people that don't know about Tong Ren, if you could tell us a little bit about what it is. I know it's somewhat like acupuncture, but not exactly. So could you clarify a little bit?
Sure. Tong Ren is a powerful energy healing treatment using tapping into the bioelectricity in our bodies. And we use an acupuncture doll that's magnetized and a magnetic hammer and tap on acupuncture points according to where a patient's diagnosis says there's a blockage.
Okay, so there's no pain involved in using this, and there's no needles. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, we don't touch the person at all.
Okay. Excellent. And what is the difference between Tong Ren and other forms of energy healing? Could you share with us that?
Tong Ren is an energy healing that, as I said, taps into the bioelectricity in your body. And the difference is that it's based on the blockage theory.
Okay.
That all illnesses or diseases or any hormonal problems, whether they be or psychological or physical problems, are due to a blockage somewhere in your body. And so the Tong Ren, by tapping on specific points on the doll, there's actually a recipe for each illness or disease, and we tap on those points, and that sends the chi throughout your body, removing the blockage, so your body heals itself.
Very nice. Very nice. That sounds excellent. Now, you just recently went to a symposium that you spoke at where you gave information about the Tong Ren healing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, where was that?
In April. It was in Marlborough, Mass.
Okay. And what was your, you spoke in front of a large group of people about the Tong Ren?
I did. It was an international group of people set up by someone in Canada, and there were people from all over the world, and we came together to share our knowledge and experience of Tong Ren. And my talk was on creative problem solving with Tong Ren. Because I'm an artist, and I had gotten very sick as an art teacher due to the sick building syndrome, and I couldn't take chemicals and couldn't use regular Western medicine. So I found Tong Ren and used that on myself and was able to heal.
Nice. I was going to ask you how you got started in this. So it was because you were sick yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
So was it patient heal thyself? Is that
yes,
is that
exactly.
the word?
Exactly.
Okay. So how would you say that Tong Ren affects your art?
It makes me freer, releases anxiety, and I'm just in the moment. So it opens up creative juices, actually, because I'm so relaxed and comfortable in the moment, There's no worries.
So you do Tong Ren on yourself then?
I do every day.
Okay. So it's like when I do Reiki, I am actually practicing it on myself. They say self-treatment. So you do self-treatment.
I do every day.
Okay. Excellent. I know I've been fortunate enough to have the experience of having you perform Tong Ren for me several times, and it's been amazing for me. Each and every time it's been for something different. And I'm hoping that during the show today? Will you be willing to give some demonstrations?
I'd love to.
That'd be excellent too.
Let the audience hear what it's about.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what? Why don't we do one now if you're willing to do it now?
Sure.
So everybody can be nice and relaxed. Let's try. Is there one for stress? Because
Absolutely.
everybody's always stressed in life, right? Nobody goes through life without being stressed without
Right.
something. So,
All right. Stress is something that, interestingly enough, back in the times of the caveman. So I'm gonna tap and talk at the same time.
Okay, so everybody, the audience listening in, just kind of sit back and relax. And is there something they should be doing?
Just sit back and relax.
Okay.
It's called lazy bum healing for a reason.
The name of our show.
So I start by tapping on the hypothalamus that's on the top of the head.
Okay.
And then I tap on the insular cortex on the left and the right side of the head. It's also called Tom's Island by the inventor Tom Tam, because when I spend time tapping on these points, it really kind of sends you on vacation. So that's why he calls it Tom's Island.
That's nice. You've also said at one point that Tong Ren healing is like tuning a piano, that it restores harmony in the body, allowing it to heal itself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Our bodies have the ability to heal. We just need to give it the roadmap.
Excellent. So hopefully you're experiencing the stress relief at home. Just kind of sit back for a second, and we're going to let you enjoy this. We'll be silent for a moment. So Kathy, what about, you mentioned qi. You mentioned qi in the energy field.
Yes.
What is qi?
Qi is unseen energy that's on our planet. And qi is the life force that runs through us. Or some people call it bioelectricity. There's qi in animals and plants, and it's just the basic life force of the universe. And Qi has the ability and will heal you, but we need to direct it to certain places.
Okay.
So by hammering on the doll, I'm directing the Qi in your body to go to your relaxation place, and it actually changes the bioelectricity of the cells so that instead of feeling stress, we feel relaxed.
Very, very nice.
It's kind of like tuning up your car, the battery in your car. So if you've got a cable that's loose, you're not going to, your car isn't going to run up to its maximum.
Right. This is true.
Yeah.
It's like charging your cell phone battery, right? You
Right.
let it get down a little bit, and then you
Exactly.
plug it back in. So you teach classes for this too, right?
I do.
And where did you want to share with everybody do you want to share with everybody, you do this in?
I actually do it out of my home.
Okay.
I have it every Wednesday morning from 11 to 12 in Manchester, New Hampshire.
And you have a
I have
website
an
that
open
people.
session.
Okay. You have a website that people could go to find out more information about that if they were interested?
I do. It's kathytangney.com.
So KathyTangney.
Correct.
All right, KathyTangney.com.
.com. And all the information is there, my address and phone number.
Okay.
So it's a drop-in session, and anybody can come for any condition they want, or if they just want to learn about it or try out some of the equipment.
And you also offer art workshops and classes. Is that correct?
I do. Actually, yeah, I've got some students right now, and I also have students come to my home to learn watercolor painting. And I have an exhibit in Concord, New Hampshire at the Kimball Jenkins Art School.
Very nice.
That's at 266 North Main Street in Concord, and that will be there for the months of July and August.
For all you listeners who are out there listening in the local New England region and you want to stop by, sounds like something fun to check out. I happen to have some of Kathy's art of my own, and I purchased it myself, and it's very beautiful. She's a watercolor artist, and definitely very beautiful technique that she has. I'm actually looking at a piece right now. It's purple flowers, and it's got some bright greens in it. It's really, really, really nice. I really enjoy it.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about too was how can somebody get the most out of a Tong Ren healing class?
By being relaxed. I think that's the most important, to just relax and let the chi in your body do its thing.
Okay. So just kind of sit back and do nothing, right?
Sit back and do nothing.
Can people fall asleep while they're getting
it's good to
there?
fall asleep because your body heals when you're sleeping.
Okay.
So that's really the highest compliment.
Really?
If someone were to fall asleep in one of my sessions, I'd be jumping for joy.
Perfect. We had put out there earlier, and I'll say this again, if anybody's ever interested in emailing me with comments, questions, anything about the show, it's Lisa Ouellet at Comcast.net. We put this out, Kathy and I, ahead of time, and we had some people write in with some questions. Excuse me. And we have Doreen from Sebago, Maine wrote in, do you travel? So do you travel when you do your Tong Ren?
I do travel in the New England area, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Maine. Yes. Okay. And also, I can do, all the practitioners do Tong Ren over the phone.
Oh, I was going to ask you that. Excellent.
Or Skype. And there are internet classes available.
Okay. Do you find a difference between Skype and over the phone? Does it make a difference to you if you can see the person in front of you? No? Okay.
It's all about hearing the vibration.
It's the same with when I do readings, exactly the same. Energy is energy.
Energy is energy. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, because I'm banging on a doll and they say, how can it possibly affect me?
Yeah.
But I say, well, look at your TV. You have a remote control.
Right.
It's exactly the same premise. You're sending the signal to your TV from your remote control.
That's exactly right.
The channels that you want to watch. So
I'm true.
Tapping on a doll to program your body to heal itself.
Very, very true. That's a good
simple
comparison. Good comparison. Now, I know because we're friends as well, too, that I know that you have some stories, too, I think that you might like to share, right?
I do.
But I'm curious, before we get into some stories, I was wondering, have you found some resistance within your circle or within your family, or have you found resistance to what you're doing? Because this is kind of, if people don't know what it is, it might seem a little out there. You know, you're tapping on a doll to heal somebody. I totally get it, and I felt the vibration and I felt the healing myself. You've helped me get rid of headaches and things before when what was working for me wasn't working. But have you come up against some resistance?
There's lots of resistance.
Yeah.
I'm one of 8 kids, and we've got nurses in the family, and my daughter is a nurse, so they're very much into Western medicine and chemicals, prescriptions, the way Western medicine treats illnesses. Right. So at first they thought I was totally out of my mind, and they all roll their eyes when here I come with the doll and the hammer. Here she is.
Did they equate it to like the voodoo lady or something? Because I would think somebody walking around with a doll, I'm looking at it too. It doesn't look anything like a voodoo doll, really. Right. I mean, but it's got points all over the body.
Chinese voodoo. Yeah. Chinese voodoo. But to tell you the truth, I've come around. I've been doing this now since 2002. When I started actually receiving treatments myself.
Yep.
And so in those 12 years, my siblings and all the nurses and medical people have started coming around, because there is so much more research being done by Tom Tam and actually by Harvard Medical and Leahy Clinic and Mass General are all doing studies right now.
That's awesome. It's like Reiki. They're starting to practice that in the hospitals now too. You know, it's so nice when the outside world can accept, what doesn't seem to be the norm, but is working for people. So awesome. That's fantastic. Now, you got your training through Tom Tam directly, right?
Yes. He runs the classes.
He does. Okay.
Yes.
So you got a one-on-one. I mean, he's like the founder of this, right?
Yes, he invented it in the 90s.
Okay.
And he teaches the classes.
Okay. But he taught you. So you got your
did.
certification through the founder of the program. So
Yes.
That's a pretty amazing accomplishment.
It is.
Yeah.
He does. He's the Thomas Edison of the 21st century.
There you go. And now he's out of, and you do, I know that occasionally you go to a place in Massachusetts where you do they have like drop-ins?
Yes.
I know you do this at your house, but can you tell us about what you do? I think it's on Saturdays. Is that correct?
That's when I go to Haverhill, Mass.
Okay.
There are group sessions, and there are anti-cancer classes at 85 Essex Street in Haverhill, Mass. And they're at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. And we have 50 to 60 people generally drop in to each session. And they sit in a folding chair, and there's generally anywhere from 6 to 10 of us tapping. And we go around the room. Tom Tam runs the class. And he goes around the room and asks each individual, how are you today? What can we do for you?
Yep.
And people with prostate cancer, with pancreatic cancer, skin cancer, sarcoma, melanoma, every type of cancer has been cured using Tong Ren.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow. That's quite an accomplishment there
It's huge.
as well too.
It's huge. And people don't know about it because we aren't backed by any big drug companies or any big corporations. Right. So it's pretty much word of mouth.
And this is going to be something, if you were to drop into something like that, it's not going to be a very personal, I shouldn't say personalized, it's going to be a quick, it's not going to be the same as getting a one-on-one session with you. Where if you get a one-on-one session, you can personalize it to a treatment that's, specifically for the client, right?
Sure. I would do a much longer, probably a 45-minute treatment individually, where if you go to a group class, you get about 3 or 4 minutes of tapping individually, but there are so many people that have the same illnesses, and the power of the group is what makes Tong Ren work.
Absolutely.
The collective
Well, I definitely want to hear more about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, I'd like you, if you're able to, I'd like to have you share with us some particular stories about people, without names or anything, that you can tell us that, that you've helped heal, that you've helped cure, and things like that. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back after this short commercial break.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Lisa Ouellet is honored to assist you as you move forward from imprisonment to empowerment. Individual intuitive sessions are available in person, by telephone, or via Skype. Visit www.lisawillette.com. While there, you can also find information about 1-hour and half-hour Reiki sessions, life coaching, and tuning into your intuition classes. These classes will help you learn to trust your intuition and tune into yourself more easily. Mention that you heard about us on Empowering Your Soul and receive 10% off your next session. Visit lisawillette.com today.
If you think you've seen online TV before, let us surprise you.
VoiceAmerica.tv is online now.
The leader in live internet talk radio has done it again. Multiple channels, a state-of-the-art viewing experience, live and on-demand programs streaming 24 hours a day. It's exactly what you want, when you want it.
VoiceAmerica.tv.
From health and wellness to business, sports, and everything in between. Discover our new world. Visit VoiceAmerica.tv now and experience the future of online television.
VoiceAmerica.tv.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You are listening to Empowering Your Soul. To reach Lisa Ouellet, you may send an email to lisawillette@comcast.net. That's lisawillette@comcast.net. Now, back to Empowering Your Soul.
Welcome back to Empowering Your Soul. If you're just tuning in right now, I'm your host, Lisa Ouellet, and today I have with me Kathy Tangney. She's a Tong Ren healer and watercolor artist she's a practitioner of Tong Ren healing. We were just talking prior to the commercial break about different kinds of diseases, I guess, for lack of a better word, that Tong Ren helps to heal and cure. And she was sharing with us so much about, it sounds like there were a lot of cancers that in that facility that you were at on Saturdays that have gotten cured. So besides cancer, what other diseases can Tong Ren heal?
Tong Ren heals any psychological or physical ailment, whether it's depression or anxiety or sore throat, Lyme disease, motion sickness.
Okay. Yep.
We use it for weight balancing. There are people that have lost, I know one man who's lost 110 pounds by doing nothing other than listening to Tong Ren. He didn't change his diet. He didn't change his exercise pattern. Just sat in a chair and listened to Tong Ren.
Hey, why don't we do that? Can you tap for weight loss right now? If there's anybody out there who might want to lose some weight, then just sit back and Kathy's going to tap for weight loss for a few minutes or a few seconds or whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Is everybody ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. I actually need to talk about this BioWave machine also.
Tell us about that.
That's the noise you're hearing right now, is the BioWave machine. And it's the brain waves of someone in a Qigong state, as well as electrical and sound vibrations that are recorded on a card and put into a machine with speakers. And I have probes that I put on the points on someone's body that correspond to where the blockages are. So in addition to the BioWave machine, that was actually developed through a huge donation from our former governor, Craig Benson.
Okay. In New Hampshire.
He's been from New Hampshire. He's been a very generous donor, and he's allowed Tom Tam to make these machines that are faster than tapping on the doll. They're more powerful because the electricity, the vibration is the same as that of the earth.
Okay.
It's at 8 megahertz. So, if you're science people out there, you'll understand what I'm saying.
And if you're not, if you're not like me, just sit back and enjoy the experience.
Exactly.
And for those of you who, well, let me ask you this then. So using in conjunction that machine along with the tapping, that must amplify, correct?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And everybody at home, I know you can't see this, but there's a red laser as well. She's using a red laser that's aimed at the particular point on the doll.
Correct.
And what does that do, Kathy?
The lasers actually shrink tumors and are used for healing. And they work much more quickly than tapping on the doll. But tapping on the doll is a good place to start.
So using all three together, it's almost like, it seems like you can't miss. You can't go wrong. You've got the biorhythm, is it called the biorhythm? BioWave machine, and you have the laser, and you have the tapping. So all three together, if you're sitting back, you're in good hands. So it's interesting, too, when you were just talking a minute ago, and I said, it's because we had another person write in with a question. Matt from Providence, Rhode Island wrote in, and he said that he has Lyme disease, and he's wondering if Tong Ren can be used for Lyme disease. So you did answer that question, but could you maybe elaborate on it?
We have great success with Lyme disease because that's an illness which affects the immune system. And the reason Tong Ren is so successful is because we all concentrate our energy on the exact same points. So we have a recipe book that tells us the points to tap on for each disease.
Okay.
So Lyme disease would be the same as anything that ends in itis, whether it's bursitis, tendinitis, sinusitis, any itis condition is part of the immune system.
And now, is that considered, Lyme disease is considered an autoimmune disease?
An immune problem.
Oh, an immune problem.
A problem in the immune system.
Okay.
And for that, we'd tap on the thoracic spine, and the points are named T1, 2, 3, 4, and 7.
Okay.
So for all those conditions that I just mentioned, I would tap on those same points.
Very nice.
So we could have a room full of people with, some could have Lyme disease, some could have bursitis, some could have arthritis. But when I tap, say, specifically for Lyme disease, I'm also tapping for those additional diseases.
Okay. So everybody in the room has a different ailment, but is getting the same benefit.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. And let me just interject here. For me personally, I know that years ago, I came to you for a session, and I was trying this out for the weight loss too. So I know for a fact that I got on the scale prior to going to your house, and I had a session, and then I went home an hour later, I think, and I got on the scale again. And I can't say that it was definitely pounds, but it was definitely, and it could be, but for me personally, it was definitely ounces. So for doing nothing, just sitting on your couch and sitting down, I definitely lost ounces in an hour by, just by experiencing the vibration. So I can say from firsthand experience that I know that it works for weight loss. And
it does.
I should be coming to you. I should be doing this again.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's all right. It's all right. We all get to where we're supposed to be.
Right. So hopefully, maybe we should have had everybody go out and get on a scale prior to
it. That would have been good.
Now,
so for weight balancing, I'm using T7 is where I start on the middle of the spine, and then I go to stomach 21 and C2 right. That's up in the back of the neck.
Okay.
I don't know if people out there are familiar with the anatomy and where these acupuncture points are, but I just thought I'd call them out.
Sure. Now, how often can somebody use a Tong Ren or go for a Tong Ren healing session? Like, is it something you can do daily, or do you have to wait a week in between sessions, or?
As often as you want, because it's totally harmless.
Right.
And the more you do it, the more balanced your body becomes, and the more synchronized with the earth it becomes. And that's what we want, the healthy balance between ourselves and the earth.
Okay.
So if someone wants to do it 4 or 5 times a day, they will get healed that much faster.
Excellent.
And that's why Tom Tam developed it, so that family members could treat each other, could treat your friends.
Yep.
At a minimal cost, just the cost of $1 and a hammer. You don't have to have all the machines.
Or you could go to somebody like you who does it instead, and then we could be the person to just sit back and experience it and get the results ourselves that way.
That's right.
Or call and have a phone session or a Skype session and lay in the comfort of your own bed or whatever. And if you have an ailment, you don't have to worry about doing it to yourself. You just get the benefit of having the experience work for you, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have several clients that I treat over the phone.
Okay.
And they have really good results. And like you said, you're more relaxed in the comfort of your own home.
Right.
And if you have something that keeps you in bed, what better way to just put your phone on speaker and get healed?
Right. And so that we're going to go back to Matt's question, Matt from Providence. He was wondering about Lyme disease. Now, that's such a prevalent issue nowadays around here. I know so many people, I could tell you, I run into clients on a regular basis from doing psychic readings that have Lyme disease, and it's debilitating. I know friends of mine that have it. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm just paranoid now to walk outside, and not get bit by a tick. But so Matt, you could call Kathy for a Skype session or a phone session. Go to her website, and that was kathytangney.com, and you could find out more that way. She could do, if you wanted to get a Lyme disease treatment over the phone, that would be a great way to do it. So anybody out there listening, no matter what state you're in, you can get a session that way and experience it. If it's something that you haven't experienced firsthand, I highly recommend it, because it's just it's different, it's unique. It's and again, totally harmless. So I was going to ask, is it safe? But clearly it's safe, because there's no pins involved, there's no needles, there's no pain. If you're experiencing some sort of an ailment or a disease or a chronic issue, you're sitting at home, or you're sitting in front of you, or you're sitting relaxing, you're closing your eyes, and you're getting healed. So that's awesome. So would you like to share some stories? I know you have some have some good stories. I've heard some of them over the years, and
I'm going to turn this off.
Absolutely.
And I'll start by telling you about my mother.
Yeah.
In 2002, she had a pain in the neck, and it wasn't her kids. It was a literal pain in the neck. And she went to she lives in the Boston area, and she went to neurologists and chiropractors and massage therapists and her own doctor, and no one could get rid of the pain in her neck. And my sister happened to find the Oriental Culture Institute in Quincy, Mass. She was walking around downtown and went in to investigate, and she met Tom Tam, and he told her about Tong Ren. And my sister took my mother over there, and in 10 minutes got rid of the pain in her neck.
That's incredible.
In fact, she doesn't even remember it.
And it was chronic before that.
It was chronic and debilitating.
Yeah.
And so when my mother and sister told me about this, I drove right down to Quincy. I said, that's it. I have to check this out.
Yeah.
And I went in.
Inquiring minds want to know, right?
Exactly. So I went into a Tom Tam session in Quincy, and I sat in a folding chair, and there were about 50 people in the room. And Tom asked me, okay, what's your problem? He's Chinese, so he speaks in broken English. Right. What's your problem? And I said, I have arthritis in my hips. And I went in there limping. I could barely even walk. And so he tapped for about 3 minutes. And then he said, how you feel? And my hands were warm and tingling, and the pain in my hip was gone. And I said, I feel fabulous. And he said, run around the room. Now, when I walked in there was no way I couldn't walk, never mind run.
Right.
But I ran around the room, and it was totally gone, and it hasn't been back since.
Wow. That's a great testimony. That's a great firsthand testimonial. That was fun. And your mom is doing better now from that issue.
From the neck pain.
Nice.
And I treat her on a regular basis.
Right. She's more open to it now, obviously.
She's very open to it. She loves it. Yeah. She calls my doll Ted. My boyfriend. She says, did you bring your boyfriend with you?
That's funny.
So I've also healed herniated discs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
On myself. There was a doctor here that I went to a specialist because I had 2 herniated discs. And I had MRIs and nerve tests and all the things that the special spine clinic gave me. And then the doctor recommended surgery. And I said, I appreciate your diagnosis. Thank you for the time, but I'm going to do Tong Ren. And it took about 2 months of doing it every day.
But that's not really even that long.
But it didn't cost me anything.
Right. Well, right.
You know?
Right.
And I never had the surgery, and my back is fine. So herniated discs were healed using Tong Ren.
That's amazing. I know. Yeah. I should probably be coming to you for a session at some point soon too. I was chasing my granddaughter around at one of those little playground thingies not too long ago, and I think that I feel younger when I'm doing it than I actually am, and I think I pulled something in my back. So maybe I'll be coming to see you for that pretty soon. Kathy, you have a great story about, I don't remember the person's name, and you don't even have to share the name, but I remember years ago when we met, we met at a friend who owned a gallery, and we were doing some healing work both at the same time there. And I went into a group session that you had, and you were telling a story about somebody's eyes. Can you share that story?
Oh, sure. Yeah, a friend of mine was actually scheduled to take a trip to Italy and had bought her plane ticket and was doing, all set to go. And it was about 2 months away. And she went to her eye doctor. She wears glasses. And there was something bothering her eyes. She didn't know what it was. So she went for a checkup. And he told her she had to have eye surgery and that she couldn't take the trip.
Oh, my.
She couldn't fly to Italy. And she had saved for years for this. So she called me and asked me if I could do some treatment. She said, I have 3 weeks to do it. Do you think we can work within 3 weeks?
Okay.
And she scheduled 2 appointments a week, 2-hour-long appointments each week for 3 weeks. And she came and had Tong Ren. And then she went back to her doctor for a checkup. And he was amazed. He said, your eye problem. She had a torn retina.
Oh, my God.
And it was healed.
I remember hearing that the first time thinking, oh, my God, a torn retina.
Yeah. And you can't fly in an airplane because the pressure does something to your eye.
Of course.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound very good.
No. So the doctor was blown away. He said, I can't believe this. And what he was most happy with was that her stress level was reduced.
Right.
And that's what happens first with Tong Ren. You get relaxed, and then the chi will go to the place in your body where there's a blockage, where there's a disease. So anyway, my friend went to Italy without incident and had a great time.
Wow.
Came back.
How empowering is that you were able to help her go on a trip that she'd been looking forward to and was not going to be able to due to a health issue?
Right.
Yeah, that's total empowerment. I love it.
Fabulous.
Those are the kind of stories that I love that you hear, and it's empowering for you, but it's empowering for her too, that she didn't have to miss out on, something with a simple session, not simple sessions, but with something as simple as going to have this treatment that didn't cause her any pain. Again, right? She just sat there and you weren't touching her eye. No. She was sitting across from you or sitting in the room, and you were just tapping.
I was banging on the door with the hammer.
and she's able to go on a flight. Amazing. That's just fascinating to me. That
no more torn retina.
Those kind of stories just blow me away. I love hearing things like that. So I know you have more stories that you want to share. I know that you're full of stories, and you can enthrall us with all kinds of information about this. I think what we're going to do is we're going to probably pause here for a minute, and then when we come back, we will come back from commercial break. You'll share some more stories, and we're going to get some more examples of tapping. You'll tap for us a little bit more and give us that. So for anybody listening, if you're interested at all in getting a session with either Kathy over the phone or with me, if you're looking for a psychic reading, you can also call me or go to my website as well, lisawillette.com. And I know for me, I'm offering if you mention this ad, you get 10% off. But definitely come back after the commercial break and we'll be sharing some more stories.
Think you've seen everything there is to see in online television? Let us surprise you. Visit voiceamerica.tv today for sports, health, business, and more on demand 24/7.
Lisa Ouellet is honored to assist you as you move forward from imprisonment to empowerment. Individual intuitive sessions are available in person, by telephone, or via Skype. Visit www.lisawillette.com. While there, you can also find information about 1-hour and half-hour Reiki sessions, life coaching, and tuning into your intuition classes. These classes will help you learn to trust your intuition and tune into yourself more easily. Mention that you heard about us on Empowering Your Soul and receive 10% off your next session. Visit lisawillette.com today.
If you think you've seen online TV before, let us surprise you.
VoiceAmerica.tv is online now.
The leader in live internet talk radio has done it again. Multiple channels, a state-of-the-art viewing experience, live and on-demand programs streaming 24 hours a day. It's exactly what you want, when you want it.
VoiceAmerica.tv.
From health and wellness to business, sports, and everything in between. Discover our new world. Visit VoiceAmerica.tv now and experience the future of online television.
VoiceAmerica.tv.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
You are listening to Empowering Your Soul. To reach Lisa Ouellet, you may send an email to lisawillette@comcast.net. That's lisawillette@comcast.net. Now, back to Empowering Your Soul.
Welcome back to Empowering Your Soul. I'm your host, Lisa Ouellet. I have Kathy Tangney here today with me, and I'm very excited to have her here with me. She's a friend, she's a peer, she's a colleague, she's an amazing watercolor artist, and she's sharing information on Tong Ren healing. So we've gotten some great stories so far, very empowering stories. I know I've heard some of these before, but I hope that you listening out there are just as amazed as I was the first time I heard them, because gosh, if this is something you've never experienced, I think this is something you might want to definitely check out. Kathy, you were telling us some stories about some different kinds of diseases. You were talking about Lyme disease. Could you maybe tap for Lyme disease? Would you be interested in doing that? And I think this time maybe what we'll do is we won't talk. So if you're out there, we'll have a moment or two of silence so that you get to experience it. I know you'll hear some silence, but you'll be hearing the tapping. So why don't we do that? So tap for Lyme disease.
And what I do is announce each point as I tap on it, so you know, those of you that are familiar. So for Lyme disease, I start on the spine, T1. And I go down T1, 2, 3, and 7. I can also put the BioWave machine on the other. I have 2 dolls here, 2 acupuncture models, and I have the probes from them positioned on the T1, 2, 3, and 7. So that's the BioWave machine that you just heard starting up. So after T1, 2, 3, and 7, I tap on GB20. That's gallbladder 20 on the top of the head. So Lyme disease is so debilitating, and people are taking antibiotics for it. And really, this works. It depends. Different people take different lengths of time to be healed, depending on your openness, depending on your relaxation, depending on how severe the blockages are. But I know of people personally who, with daily treatments for 2 weeks, have totally cured Lyme disease. So, 15 minutes a day for 2 weeks got rid of Lyme disease. No medications.
That's awesome.
Nothing.
Now, what if you're listening in and you don't have Lyme disease? How does that work? Is it going to affect you in any negative, or what's it going to do?
No. What it will do is send the chi. The chi is very smart. Chi in our bodies is smart and knows where to go and goes where there's a blockage. So we direct it. And as I was saying before, Lyme disease is actually an illness of the immune system. So if you have other illnesses of the immune system, by me tapping on these points for Lyme disease, those conditions would improve.
Awesome.
So for instance, arthritis, as I was saying, bursitis,
yep,
tendinitis.
And how long should a session be? How long should you tap?
When I'm tapping on a client, generally it's about 45 minutes for a session. But I do myself a 15-minute session every day. Some people call it my meditation. It's just listening to the tapping.
Okay.
And it relaxes me and focuses me at the same time. So then I'm ready for my day.
Okay. Could we switch gears for one moment here? Could we maybe go to headaches?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people suffer from headaches.
Yeah. So to tap on headaches, I tap on bladder 9 on the back of the head. And the medulla, which is the part of the brain on the back of your head. People don't have to know anything about anatomy.
Right. I'm glad, because I don't. I mean, I'm listening to you, but I'm thinking I don't know what she's talking about, but I was starting to get a little bit of a headache in the last maybe 10 minutes, not from our talking, just in general. I was just starting to get a little bit of one. And so when you're doing this now, just in the few moments that you're doing this, I can actually, not even a few minutes, you just started, and I can actually already feel the lessening right across my temple and my forehead.
Good.
Yeah, and I don't know where you're tapping, if you're tapping on the back of the head or the front of the head, but I'm feeling it in my forehead.
Good. Well, I was tapping on the back of the head, but as I said, she is smart. And because we're directing the energy in your head, you have a headache, it's going to that place that needs opening up.
This is good. So if you're sitting at home and you're resting, if you're driving, what happens if you're driving and you're listening to this? Does it make a difference if people are listening in now while they're if they're driving to work or whatever? Is it going to make a difference if they're experiencing this while they're driving?
No, it's fine to listen to. In fact, I know some people that actually put the machines on themselves, like on the lower back, while they're driving.
Okay.
I find it better to be totally relaxed, and it doesn't interfere with your driving. You become relaxed.
Right.
But I would rather see people do it when they're sitting down and more relaxed than driving.
Absolutely. Do you have, I don't know if you want to talk and share stories at the same time as you're tapping, or if you want to stop tapping for a moment and tell a story, whatever you'd like to do. But I know you had another story that you wanted to share. Is that correct?
I do. Yeah, I have a client that came to me 2 years ago with a MAC infection in her lungs, and it was caused by the environment that she was working in. And she had gone to specialists, and they couldn't find out how to treat it. They didn't know how to treat it. She was chronically coughing up all kinds of junk. She was chronically out of work, and she was just really, really sick. And so I started treating her weekly, and in about 6 months' time, she noticed a huge improvement, but she continued on with the medications that the doctor had prescribed, which is fine. A lot of people do that. And she went to see a specialist in Colorado after about a year's time of doing Tong Ren, and they found that the MAC infection was totally gone.
Wow.
Totally gone. Now, this is something she had to fly out to Colorado to see a specialist because it just is a very uncommon disease.
Absolutely.
And she's been cured using the Tong Ren. So she's been able to go back to work. She's functioning. And she still comes every week for treatment. It's good to keep up with the Tong Ren because it keeps your body balanced.
So I was going to ask you, should you come for maintenance then?
Yes.
I mean, that's a good thing to do.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
especially cancer patients.
Yeah. And do you see a lot of those? Do you find there's a trend of do you see a certain type of client on a regular basis? I mean, do you find that there's a trend? I know I asked different practitioners that I've interviewed that same question, but do you tend to see?
I do. I'll tend to see several people at the same time will have eye problems.
Okay.
Then several people will have Lyme disease, or several people will have arthritis. Emotional problems is a big one.
Oh, so you can treat emotional problems with Tong Ren. Very, very nice. So physical and emotional.
Correct.
Okay.
Bipolar, depression, anxiety.
No kidding.
Schizophrenia, all of those illnesses can be treated very easily with Tong Ren.
Just by tapping.
Yes.
Same way.
Yes.
Excellent. Good to know. And those can be done over the phone too. If you're listening again, if you're far away and you can't get to Kathy's, in person, you could do a Skype session or over the phone session as well too. Awesome.
Should I give my phone number?
They can go to your website, right? It's kathytangney.com.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else would you like to? I know we're running close to the end of our show here. Time flies when you're having fun.
It does.
Would there be something else you'd like to tap for?
Well, I was also healed. I healed myself with skin cancer.
Oh my!
My father had died of melanoma in 2002, and so I yearly go for a skin checkup.
Right.
And I had a couple of growths on my nose that I was concerned about, and the skin doctor, the dermatologist, recommended I have a biopsy. So they biopsied the 2 growths on my nose. One was basal cell, and the other was squamous. And then they told me that I needed to have a surgery called Mohs surgery. It's called MOHS. And I said, thank you very much, but I'm going to do Tong Ren. And
they must love it when you say that.
I got a nasty letter in the mail with all kinds of disclaimers and all sorts of things. They were threatening me, and did I know what I was really doing? And I did Tong Ren for several weeks.
Yep.
No more skin cancer.
Really?
Totally gone.
So and again, all the power to you. That's fantastic. What about, I don't know what stage you were in with that, but is there does it help for different stages of cancer? If you're in the late stage of cancer, stage 4, I think there's their numbers. If you're in stage 4, is this something that could benefit you from that as well too?
Absolutely. There was a man that came to see me that had a rapidly growing brain tumor. And in fact, he had 7 surgeries on his skull, on his brain, removing the tumor. But every time they removed some, it would grow back and grow back. So as I said, 7 surgeries.
Wow.
And he came to me and was walking with a cane and had to be driven because his eyesight was so bad from the tumor he couldn't see. And this was about a year ago. He was actually, the doctors told him he had 5 months to live.
Wow.
Then that was a year and a half ago. And now he's flying all over the country, visiting family and friends.
Wow.
He's totally healed.
I keep saying wow, but I don't have any other word for it. That's just fantastic. That's amazing.
So we mostly see people with late stage cancer, stage 3 or 4.
Okay.
because the doctors say there's nothing else we can do. You've done chemo, you've done radiation, your time is limited. And that's when people start looking for alternatives.
Frantically, sure. Yeah, you're in desperate need at that point. Do they come more often? I mean, do they have to have like several sessions a week at that point, or
it's recommended?
I would imagine it would be.
Yes, it's recommended even to have daily treatments.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, and again, for those of you that don't, that haven't experienced it, I know that you're very reasonably priced for your session. So if this is something that you're, wanting to experience, I would just give Kathy, check out our website. I don't know if you're, I think this is just definitely something everybody should experience once for themselves to see, because it I know if you hear about it and you don't really know anything about it, you think to yourself, I'm not really sure, and you're not 100% positive. But once you've experienced it once for yourself, in person, over the phone, whatever, you'll get a sense of knowing if it's for you or not. And I can't imagine that it wouldn't be, because again, there's no pain, there's no needles, there's no nothing. You're just relaxed. And Kathy's a very affable person, she puts you at ease. She's very relaxing. So definitely something that I think everybody should experience. So, Kathy, I know we're getting close to the end of the show. Is there anything else you'd like to share quickly?
Sure. I've treated people with bipolar.
Okay.
And have had really good luck with that. In fact, usually with emotional or psychological illnesses like that, we see someone have what I call a meltdown. So, we'll start tapping on the doll, and generally within 5 or 6 minutes, the person is just crying, streaming tears, because it's such a release.
Emotional release, right?
It's a physical and emotional release that they feel so much better. And what people tell me is that it stopped the tape from playing in their head.
You're breaking a pattern.
You're breaking the pattern and breaking the cycle and
empowering yourself.
Exactly.
I love it. Love it. It's what the show's all about, people.
Right.
Empowering your soul. Your soul, yourself. Same thing. Excellent. Well, if you could maybe tap for another minute, I know that, again, we're really getting to the end of the show here, but if you could tap for another minute for something, whatever you feel. How about arthritis? You said a lot of people have arthritis?
Sure.
Yeah. We tap for a minute on
I'll
arthritis.
tap for arthritis, and I'm tapping on T1, 2, 3, 4, and 7. And the same woman that came to me with the lung infection also had terrible arthritis. Her hands were all knotted up. The joints were all swollen and knots. And she had arthritis in her feet. And that's also gone.
That's awesome. That's just, to me, if you can cure something and not even just maybe partially heal it, if it goes away, to me, that's a cure.
Right. Better's better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Better's better. No argue.
Very true.
So it truly is lazy bum healing.
Yeah, lazy bum healing. It's affordable health care. It's something that you don't have to exert yourself to do. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. There's really not much. It helps with blockages. Kathy's focusing her conscious mind on locations corresponding to the area that you're asking about. So definitely check this out.
There are locations all over the world. There are people in Hong Kong that call in to our sessions in Haverhill and Quincy.
Excellent.
We frequently have people's phones on speaker, and we're tapping for people all over the world. I had a woman from Colorado call me to deal with a colonitis. She had a colonoscopy, and we healed it using Tong Ren.
Excellent. So again, just to recap here, Tong Ren heals emotional and physical. It heals everything from neck problems to headaches to depression, weight loss, so obesity issues. I would imagine diabetes, Lyme disease, cancer. You mentioned that. That's a big one. So again, KathyTangney.com if you're looking for a session with her. And if you're looking for a session with me, again, I'm Lisa Ouellet at Comcast.net is my email, or you can catch me at LisaOuellet.com. I would like to thank you so much for being part of our show today, and thank you, Kathy, for being here.
Thank you, Lisa. This has been wonderful.
Excellent. And next week, I'm going to have on my show author and energy worker Karine Casaza. The title of that show is going to be Unwavering Strength, Triumphing Over Adversity. So I welcome you to tune in next week, and we're going to hear all about a book that she's written some books, and we're going to hear about a new book that she's collaborated on as well, in Unwavering Strength. So have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Empowering Your Soul. Please be sure to join Lisa Ouellet for another engaging program next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, noon Eastern Time on the Voice America 7th Wave channel. This week, stop feeling imprisoned and start being empowered.
Thanks again for listening to the preceding program brought to you on the 7th Wave Network. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit 7thwavenetwork.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the preceding program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily